Well, hello there. So, the request for discovery is out, and you can go and follow the link in the description of this video and head over to Lawyer You Know, and he will walk you through that document if you're interested in a complete deep dive into that. Now, look, he doesn't take hours and hours about it. It's about 20 minutes long, well worth it. But what I'm going to do here is just touch on a few of what I consider the most important elements of it, and that will conclude my coverage of this case, unless something absolutely needing to be discussed comes out, or indeed when they have the preliminary hearing in June, there is information off the back end of that, because this document sort of gives a nod to the fact that there could potentially be a lot more given at that time. And what do I mean? Now, we can speculate all we want, but I think we've speculated it to death. The reality is Kohberger has been arrested, but from what we can see, there is not a lot of sort of solid evidence that says he does it or he did it. And we've all been there and thought, do you know what, I hope they've got more. But what this document does is it proves that there looks like there could be a lot more. Now, the request for discovery does make nods towards the fact that it could be a co-defendant. It certainly doesn't put it to bed, even though it doesn't 100% confirm that there is one. But it's interesting that they give a nod to the fact that in the likelihood that there is one that comes, from it. Who knows? But again, I think it's interesting that they do not put that to bed. Alongside the fact that there could be an informant involved, again, they don't absolutely 100% confirm it, but they do not put it to bed either. And both of these facts, they could indeed put to bed. There would be no reason to leave those hanging in the air unless there was a potential for that to come up in the future. Now, is it because when they ask Kohberger what his defense is, let's not forget that, later on down the track, back in June, it's likely that he's going to come out with what his defense is. Now, is it that he was there but he didn't do it? Was he simply the driver? Was he someone who took someone else there? Was he in there with somebody else? That, I think, could be why that is in there. Is it going to be that Kohberger does finally give the name of someone who was working alongside him, and are law enforcement preparing for that? Who knows? But I think that could be a telltale that they are potentially expecting him to say that he had help or someone else was involved. Let me know down below what you think. But anyway, also, we've had, around 20 pages or so that we've had the chance to look through. And, from the search, etc., the affidavit, and all of those sort of documents. But what we're seeing in this document is there is 1,000 pages, what they're classing as Exhibit A. So that's 1,000 pages of information, and that is not a complete list either. There are more things that they have said will be added to it. There are some redacted pieces of information as well. There's some stuff that they will only share partial and potentially not share at all. But there is so far nearly 1,000 pages. So we don't even at this stage have 10% of what they have got. There was only one recording, which I found was interesting, so I'm guessing that is from the camera next door. So there's no other pieces of audio information that they have utilized as part of this investigation. So all of the multiple recordings that we have heard, the Jack S. hoodie guy and all that sort of stuff, that is not being brought in as part of this story. So I know there's a lot of people who have been questioning what they were potentially talking about, but it seems that they're not being included in this, so they don't consider that relevant to this case. There was only one recording. And there is around 1,900 photographs. 1,900 photographs. So, do you know what I mean? That's a massive, massive amount of sort of visual aids to show a jury of exactly what that scene looked like and give a, like I say, visual representation. I think that's quite a quite a handy tool in these cases. You know, people are sold on emotion. When we buy things, do you know what I mean? We buy it a lot off how looking at it and how it makes us feel, and that's no different with a jury. If they can be shown things that shock them, that's how the prosecution is going to sell their version of events and get the outcome that they hope to achieve. Well, look, like I say, for now, I don't think there's a lot more to discuss in this. We're looking at the Alex Murdaugh case, and we'll be following that. If you'd like to come along on the ride, hang around. There'll be other cases we touch on as well. But for now, I think that we've done all the speculating that we can. I think there's a lot more to come in this. I'm certainly going to be keeping an eye out. And if anything does leap out that I feel people need to know, of course I will talk about it. But I think it's now waiting for, June to come around, the preliminary hearing what other information comes out, if indeed more does come out with regards to this document, and then we can have a good look over that. If you have any questions, anything whatsoever that you'd like to discuss or you'd like to see on the channel, please do let me know and put that down below. Keep an eye out for the phones as well in the videos, as we have 2 left to go through, and then we've got the live on the 19th. But anyway, for now, have a fantastic weekend, and I shall catch you all in the live tomorrow.